I don't know, like, there's so many things out there in the world as far as platforms to get your music heard, and I think it mostly relies on what caters to you. I mean, if you're only trying to hit DJs, then record pools are what you need, or what you would want to like research and go to and put your music on. If you're looking for numbers and streaming and residual monies, then your Spotify's, your iTunes, things like that. So.
And it goes down to like the culture too. Me and Keenan were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier about the relationships that you build through basically all the steps. So just like Kay Young just said, if you really want to go and build a relationship with DJs, now you've built some type of pool where with that particular DJ you have a relationship, so you can keep feeding them content. And as you kind of really make a plan with content, now if she has more of a streaming network instead of just playing it, now you can be able to, be a part of that. That can double that over. So now she's more than just one platform for you. She's streaming, she's radio, she's YouTube, she's all these different things because you built that relationship. So now you've got more of a stream to say, like he said, make money with somebody, and then to be able to build the kind of relationship that you can know for the long run that this is somebody that I can be able to really, make money with. Whether that's building a relationship with her, she's doing shows. She might know about artists that need to go in there and do, perform. But at the same time, it might be an opportunity for you to expand more so with marketing so you can be seen, or if she could know the plug on how to get you paid. You just got to get your ass out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely advantageous to look at all those different steps when you start looking at, okay, what am I particularly going to do and how am I going to make money with these people, or how am I going to be advantageous even to them, giving them consistent product and staying, up on it.
So speaking about like getting it out there, like how, as an artist, how does someone find their brand, and then how do they find the people who want that brand? Like how do you deliver your product in the way that it will be responded to well and work well, while still having it be yours kind of and not changing it too much?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing about that is identifying that. There's certain tools you can look at, whether you're putting your music on SoundCloud, seeing where they're at, but also the kind of music that you are catering to a certain demographic. You don't necessarily have to look at numbers to say, oh, I make emo music, or I make club music, or I make wake up and workout music. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that you will already kind of know, but once you start really identifying, in particular, like, okay, now that I'm on these platforms, are these people in California? Okay, so then I know that they like the sunshine. You know what I'm saying? I know that I'm making more upbeat records in this particular time period, so I can kind of scope on that now a little bit more. So it comes from testing it, of what you want your product to be, but also who you're looking at to consume the product. Like you want to be able to get the user data from that and the people, but at the same time you want to still feel it out. You're still a person, it's still people, you know what I'm saying? So the kind of music you might make right now is not the same kind of music that you could make, later on in the year. You might be thinking more so about the top of the year, some party, or something that's more relationship based, you know what I'm saying? Because it's fall kind of thing. Like it's just who you are, so then you can scope it to the different people who can really grasp it, really.
So, Dre, in your point of view, what if someone were to say, get their dream and get to work with you, would you tell them, you gotta listen to me in every moment because I'm me? Or would you say, you gotta listen to me in every moment because you trust me? And how do you get there with that person? The answer is yes to everything when it comes to him. But anyway, how do you know that person's up for that challenge with you particularly?
No, I never tell a person or somebody I work with that you gotta do it my way and only my way. I think trusting, the road to get to where you're going is very long, you know what I'm saying? So you can only do it by trusting in that person next to you, or that you believe in, or and vice versa, them trusting in you being a manager or the A&R, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm never, for me, I don't ever try to really pull that card. I don't ever try to say, hey, I know what I'm doing, shut it up. And follow me. I'd rather you follow me because you believe in me, because you trust me, because yes, you know what I've worked on, but because I made the right decisions for you to say, okay.
And I know we discussed earlier this morning or earlier this afternoon about, like, what I'm learning about these people is this work ethic here at this table, and the recognition that they have between each other because of the work ethic is, I mean, it's through the roof. So like, I don't think any of you deal with anybody who doesn't have that kind of work ethic that is gonna put their money where their mouth is, you know, so to speak, or put the good foot forward and work smart. So process, I'm gonna ask you, like, did you feel like that got tested? Where do you feel like that work ethic, maybe not just with this group, but when you're out, when you're promoting, when you're playing, where does that get tested and how do you deal with it?
I think it's just more so knowing that this is what I want to do. You get what I'm saying? So just the passion behind what you're doing. I think that is like the highlight of your career period, because it's going to have the ups and downs. It's going to have, you know, its moments where you feel like, oh, I'm not going to do this, you know, anymore. It's not working, or, you know, you give up, or because of the lack of support, or just the lack of knowing your full ability. That's what it's really about.
That was about time. Tell me something, girl.
She is telling us something.
You know, it was an advertisement. I saw it. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It's all good. So pretty much, I would say that's where it all like really falls on. Like, is this really something I'm passionate about? You just gotta give your full, regardless. Did I answer your question completely?
Yeah, like, I mean, we talked earlier this, no, there's an interruption, everybody's like, we talked earlier this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, about having thick skin, you know, and when it comes to people, especially with the ladies at the table, when it comes to people testing that, regardless if it's someone who just, you know, wants to be a critic, or someone who is in your fan base that wants to give you constructive criticism, or someone that's trying to help you grow, right? Like, the people that test you sometimes are going to be assholes, and sometimes they're going to be helpers, right? Like, so
Exactly.
how do you know the difference as an artist and as a person that's out there of the people who are just trying to mess with you and the people that are being tough love, like? That,
Okay,
you know?
okay, I can really relate to this one. So that just is all in like for me speaking and having a conversation with people. So regardless of them trying to test you, because that happens in everyday life, you know what I'm saying? You have to know how to separate the two, business and personal. You can't get really personal when it comes to this business. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes you're gonna have people that are not gonna like what you're doing or have whatever their opinion is, but you can't allow that to affect what you got going on. So I think like earlier, Kay Young was just talking about how she had it where a lot of people was like, you know, you're the worst DJ, and then you're the best DJ, just because, you know, she's a female, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be. Like, you really just have to, I guess, focus on you and how you move in your direction. You don't have to worry about anybody else, you know what I'm saying? So you have to keep that attitude at all times. Like, regardless if you're hearing something that you don't like or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, like, you want to know who your supporters are, and then the people who are just trying to get in your way and feel your way through that smartly. And there's people out there to help with that.
Yeah,
Like, that's
and
what you
staying
all
in
do.
that middle ground too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, because that's important. You don't want to, you know, be rageful and bitter because people don't, you know, fuck with you kind of stuff. You just gotta have
Exactly.
a positive attitude and make that recycle back around. You know.
Yeah. Well, I want to a little bit more about like work ethic and how that builds relationships and how you can show people that you're, you know, gonna stay serious about things like right now. Demand has an interesting backstory in his relationships and how he came up in this business, and if it's okay to share that, I really like the story, so I'll hear it again.
What, you want my origin story? You want the horrific origin
I
story?
want the car parking story. I want
Yeah,
that.
the
That
horrific
origin
origin
story,
story, yeah.
Not
So-
from like when you were a baby. Like,
Right, not the baby part, but okay. So basically, I started as a DJ. So once I got to a certain point of doing remixes or whatever the case, I accumulated like over 150,000 like on one remix when it came to downloads. You know, now it's streaming. So the Digital Music Copyright Act doesn't allow anybody to just put up remixes due to the licensors or whoever's putting together the music. So when I put it on my platform, of course, I'll start doing numbers, they want to take the shit down. So I'm trying to think of another way to be able to make content, but at the same time, be somebody. So I was like, okay, maybe I could switch up and really start being part of the process. A&R, somebody within the realm that's going to make the music. I looked at a couple of different internships, and Andre was at Radar and Epic Records at the time. And he was out of town when when I first got part of the crew. And he wasn't even there, and they had me go get his car, and they were like, go get it and just park it, and then we'll figure out, whatever else. And he was gone that morning. He missed his flight, and he still wasn't around. And I sat there in the front office at studio for almost like 5 hours. So it was like 8 p.m. and he just walks in and he's like, what are you doing here? And I was just like, I'm just waiting on you. And I mean, I've had Christina Milian, I've had Zaytoven, I've had all these people walk by me, while I'm sitting in the lobby. And I'm like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't about to be sitting up here, but the ego is gone at that point. I'm humbled because I see at that moment, how bad do I really want this? Because I could just walk out and wouldn't nobody even known I left, really, shit. He probably wouldn't even call and ask, because it's just another fucking intern. You know what I'm saying? And especially under those kind of hardships, they would. But Andre saw that, at least in that personal moment for me, that I was willing to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's something so minuscule with it, I didn't bitch or complain about it. I was pissed. But I didn't sit there and, throw a fit and go behind the door of the office and ask them, what the hell are you guys doing? When is it coming back? Put me to something. But from that moment, no matter what, I knew nothing could be that difficult. You know what I'm saying? With doing it and learning it. And ever since then, he's trusted me no matter what, because he knows I'm not going to get more tempered or not know how to direct somebody else who wants an opportunity of doing something. So.
Yeah, and that's a good story to share, because everybody has to learn how to start with a relationship, who to talk to first, which people are going to make it worth your time, which people are going to maybe be a waste of your time or just run you around, right? So clearly that thing that you showed that day meant something, because you guys have
and I mean he had some other examples, but at least that was a good janitor guy. But no, it was just the simple fact that I was able to not overly vocalize, because a lot of times, I mean, people who just want to get in the door, they're letting you know they want to get in the door. You know what I'm saying? They're not patiently listening to somebody or going around towards the other animals that's willing to kind of teach them and learn. And it might be bullshit in the meantime, but I was able to sit there and say, okay, I know in this moment, and he was able to see that nonetheless. So,
if each one of you could answer with maybe one answer to this question. What is from your point of view in your career and your perspective, what is the single most important relationship in your career right now? And that might not be able to be answered, but think of it from the perspective of people trying to grow and get to where you are, or get somewhere in this industry and find their way. Maybe it's a harder question. Maybe there's two.
It's a hard question.
I mean, is it a manager? Is it a promoter? Is it a venue? Is it finally getting a chance to meet someone like this,
It's me, because I'm like my worst on enemy and stuff. I feel like the best relationship is being honest with myself and how I deal with people. You know what I'm saying? Or how I receive information and put myself in those positions and say, okay, I can do this, or let me fully understand what this person might need or doesn't know they need. You know what I'm saying? So I can intelligently be of service to them. You know what I'm saying? So I can be an asset.
Anybody else got some insight to that? I mean, I know that's a hard question, but maybe think about where you were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and if you were sitting out there and somebody asked that question, what did you need to know then versus what you know now? About how to take the best next step.
I feel like you asked some damn good questions. I feel like I'm taking an SAT.
Thank you.
I'm thinking about something.
Right.
I'm just making this up.
That's dumb. I can say, I can say within the journey of my DJing, every part of my journey to where I am right now today has been, a certain person or certain people within my journey. If at the beginning it was just trying to make a relationship, period. And now it's, then it's elevated to, maybe some guy who helped me get on a radio show, or, you know what I mean? And like, so within the last 3 years, obviously I would say Dre become, being my manager, then, kind of like getting me in that transition of, do I want to be an A&R? Do I not want to be an A&R? Which I don't want to be an A&R, obviously. Made that clear. To where I am right now. So there's so many people who've helped me in my journey, other DJs, that have helped me become DJ K-Young. Now, there's not one particular person that I can say, other than probably like my mentor, DJ Scratch Master D and DJ Dollar. Like, they're the first people who like believed in me, but there's been others throughout the journey who, within certain particular parts of that journey, have helped me. So I can't really pinpoint one person.
Yeah,
Actually, to be, I'll be honest with you. The band said what I was gonna say. I just thought I was like, is this gonna be arrogant if I say it? You know what I'm saying? I really had to think, but from the aspect, I agree with both of you guys. You don't know who's in your life. It takes a team. I can't really just name one person. Even 3 years ago, it was so many people that influenced me that I looked up to. And I'm a firm believer that you have to know where you're going, know where you're from. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that, right? Know where you're from, I'm saying, to know where you're going. Apologies. But so for me, it was a lot. But also, like, every day I have to believe in myself and thrive and understand, like, if this is something that you really want, then you're gonna have to go hard for it. I just told the last people that was here, like, I try not to go 100% because that's what everybody else is doing. So I personally feel like if I go 100% and you're going 100%, we neck to neck, we ain't winning. So I gotta do 150 because I just signed up for this to lose. You know what I'm saying? And that's just something I have to do every day. I know he'll call me sometimes and like I'll call him like, hey man, it's 3. He's like, man, do you know it's 3 o'clock in the morning? And I'm like, yeah. Guess what? This is what's going on. Like,
You called me at 3 o'clock, like, you sleep? Yeah, we just talked at like 1:30. Like,
No, it's like that out here young too, and you know what I'm saying? For me, I just have to push because once you really, this is a lot, like this is a dream, and everybody has a dream, you have a passion, you know what I'm saying? But when you see the success of other people and the work ethic that other people have that are successful, and you realize, damn, they're not relaxing, they're like still going hard, and I think like they're not taking no days off, so I can't take no days off. That's what they did to be successful, and they didn't stop yet. And I already took 2 days off. Then obviously I don't want it as bad as them.
Yeah.
So that's my mentality. You know what I'm saying? So
What can you say about, so all across industries, our communication is 100% important. Like there is no, in my opinion, there's no way to over-communicate. Just always check and make sure people are on the same page. Always want to make sure that, you understand each other. If it takes another phone call or whatever, like do it, right? So I get frustrated with people because there's a lot of lack of follow-through out there, like in the world and in business, right? In this business, I don't know if that's how you feel, but for people that are out there trying to grow, what is your advice as far as like, if there's an opportunity or if you happen to meet somebody in a club and you think that that could be important for your career, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll talk to you later, definitely hit me up or whatever, like, what is the importance of that follow-through, like that follow-up, the circle back around? I mean, that's like...
That is very important because you don't know what's going to trigger somebody to finally open up and have the communication with you. You might think it's the perfect time, but it might be the wrong time for that person, but you still have the number, the connection. Hey, if that person doesn't hit you back right away, still hit them up. DM them, instant message, whatever. Shoot them an email, shoot them a text. You don't want to be overbearing, and you don't want to make it seem like you're hounding them, but you do want to show them that you're interested. A guy hit me up, man. He saw I wasn't hitting him back. He was like, "Look, man, I guess he passed me. I don't know how he knew. I don't even go to Starbucks." And he was like, "Yo, bro, I'd like to offer you I heard you like chai tea. Maybe we can meet at this spot." And I was like, "Dang, how'd you know that?" You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, "Yo, I just saw you one day. I decided not to do it. I was right behind you. Got your information. I heard you say you like it. Want to take you to the spot, chop it up with you." Man, he wanted to be one of my producers. He wasn't blowing me up all the time. He didn't make me feel like, yo, relax, right? So it's very important to let somebody know that you're very hungry, you're very interested, but you do not want to overgive. You don't want to send access emails. You don't want to send access texts. You don't want to bother them all the time, but you do want to try to create a relationship with that person. To at least have the respect to say, hey man, one day you might say, listen, I know I hit you up several times. It didn't work. Maybe we can talk now. I like the blah, blah, blah. I respect that as an executive, as a man, and I'll say, you know what? Let me at least give this guy a follow back, right? Or this female follow back, right? But it's about being persistent, but not too overbearing.
It's a fine line. I know, it's tough.
Yeah. I think though for DJs, it's about the timing. I mean, you can hit me up every day, all day, and I'll, whether or not I talk to you or not, but the timing is the most important for us. I mean, if you give a DJ a record in the club and we're DJing, you're not gonna get the response you want at all. No matter if you're buying me bottles or if you're trying to buy me a drink, you're still not gonna get the response that you want. So I think every situation's a little bit different. It depends on who you're targeting, who you're trying to talk to. And with me, the best way to get my attention is before I DJ or after I'm done DJing. I mean, or, in between, being at home and at the clubs or, on radio and stuff like that. So I think the timing for me as a DJ is more important than if you're bugging the hell out of me, because, I mean, I'm okay with people bugging me. It don't bother, I mean, it doesn't bother me because I'm either gonna, unfortunately, ignore, all that, or I'm gonna reply to it. And also too, I know we talked earlier, I know Dre said, like, sometimes you just catch us in the right mood, it's all about the mood as well. And earlier I was saying, the music business is a lot about psychology and feelings and, all that other crap that I don't like to talk about or like to feel, but there's a lot of psychology in the music business, and if you're getting me on the right day, I can get, I might try to give you the world. And if you catch me on the wrong day, like I've had some personal issues, you're gonna get the worst of KO. You're gonna get the worst.
Can you do the resting bean face? Look at that. Yeah. We don't want that going. We want that. Process, what do you think about that? You got any of your insight to add?
No, I would just say that for me, I think that just communicating, making sure you're open, keeping yourself open. You know what I'm saying? How I met all of these guys is all through me just one day deciding to talk to this person that stood out in the room, Michael Fontaine, who's not here with us. All it took was me to just go talk to him, and come to find out this is an entire A&R. You never know who's around. Communication is huge. Like, that's going back to what you were just hitting on, Emily, about communication. You have to just be willing to talk. You can't be nervous. When you're really grinding for something. Dre mentioned that, like, you staying persistent is everything. And I think that's displayed at all times, like, regardless of what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're trying to get somebody to hear a song or whether you're reaching out to an A&R, like he was mentioning earlier, it's just persistence.
So this is a good question, and I think that everybody has a different perspective on this one. What is more important for the success of an artist, talent or marketability? You're on. This is you all day.
She came up with new questions.
I feel guilty for this. We talked about this.
I mean, no.
That was earlier
I
today.
think it just depends on, I don't think it's a wrong answer. I think it just depends on the artist. You got some artists that are more talented than other artists. I've been around artists where I'm just like, man, this kid is amazing. But you do have some artists that are more marketable than other artists. That brands will look at it and say, hey, I would love to put my money in this particular person and them be the face of my brand. I don't think either or is wrong. Those are both artists that you can actually win with, depending on who's going to be hungry in one of those.
What do you think? Because you're the we talked about the hierarchy earlier about who to get to, who's a gatekeeper to the next person, and you, I think, get a lot of the people like, please,
they're trying
right?
to get to the people like him. So I mean, I would say, it goes between both of them. It's just the personality and the approach, kind of like what we had talked about earlier. One of the keys I was going to say is just the consistency through it. Everybody hit on a good point of if you're trying to connect with somebody and keep a relationship and make sure that you can send them music, it's just about the consistency. So I feel like if I can see a consistent factor between them knowing that they probably need to work on one or the other, you know what I'm saying, is you are talented, you still need to work on your marketability. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those honest things when it runs into guys like us. And she's gonna tell them and stuff. And she's gonna tell them is, you gotta make sure you're fresh. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that you're going out to these places and people can see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta make sure that you have an idea of who you're gonna market this stuff to and what places you're gonna go to. That kind of stuff comes along with it. But if you are also talented with that, I mean, they can be able to go hand in hand, but you just gotta say to yourself, honestly, how am I going to market this? People have to like it. People have to like me. They have to like the music. It's not about you liking the music or an artist. It's about how can people like that and how can it be marketable. So, and then when they start that process of developing themselves, be a vessel to show that.
I think we talked a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, I don't care about the marketing part. I mean, to be really honest, like, your music just better be good. Because then, after that, the marketability and all that other stuff, I mean, the music has to be good, you have to be a good artist. But for me, I want to hear the good music because that's what I'm gonna play. And then I just hope that you got your shit together, kind of thing, so that I can tell a DJ or demand or whatever, about you. And you just better have your life together, because it's not my job as DJ K Young to worry about your marketing and what you look like and what your social media numbers are and all that stuff. I don't care. I want to hear the music. I'm gonna play the music, and then I'm gonna co-sign you. And because then he's gonna ask me all those questions. Because, like, we're just talking about the hierarchy, the levels. It'll start with process, then it comes to me, and then it comes to him, and me and him are gonna gatekeep, and he's gonna be the biggest gatekeeper before you ever meet this guy. So, I mean, for me, it is the opposite. I don't care marketability-wise. I mean, I just want to hear a good song, and then hopefully you got your life together, and then I'll tell this guy.
Yeah, you gotta have both, right? I mean, you can't.
And I'll be the one, the bad guy.
Yeah, you are mean. No, we talked a little bit about this earlier this afternoon about people. So we've got two folks here from Atlanta. We got somebody from Chicago. We got somebody from Iowa. I mean, Quad Cities, right? Iowa, Illinois, just mix that together, make one word. Is it important to, I think there's this notion that you have to leave and go to New York, you have to leave and go to LA. In order to be successful, you have to do that. We talked about that earlier this afternoon, and I was so pleased that I'm from Madison. They are all in union saying, no, like, be from Madison, be proud of your city, succeed here before you even think about stepping away from this. So I just love for you to share with some of the new folks we have today how you feel about that and why.
So I am from the Quad Cities, which is about 3 hours away, and before I met these guys, I was that person that was thinking about moving to LA, New York, Atlanta, whatever, and then after getting basically my ass chewed to stay and really focus on my brand here, then I decided and then looked at my brand and decided I didn't need to leave, and I'm so glad I didn't. There's a thing where I talked earlier today about me being from the Quad Cities, Illinois, Iowa. When Demand and I went over to New York last year in September, I mean, they opened all the doors. They basically rolled out a red carpet. We went to Hot 97, Power 105, we went to Def Jam, Republic, Interscope, and they just, we were talking to vice presidents of promotions and hip hop, and I'm making all these new friends, and and program directors, and I mean, it was insane, but it was because they knew we weren't moving to New York. It was because they knew that we weren't going to infiltrate their clubs and try to get their jobs, so that I had gotten all these amazing relationships, and now I can go to New York anytime. One phone call, I can go to New York and I can get that same treatment because I'm not a risk to them. I'm not a threat to them.
They like it when you visit.
Yeah,
they want you to stay.
Yeah, they like when I visit. They like when I leave. It's fine, and I'm okay with that, because even too, you have to realize, being from Madison, being from Iowa, being from Northern Illinois, and not being from Chicago, it's okay, because I've realized over the years that I am a big fish in a little pond, and I'm winning in that pond. And you have to embrace where you're from. You have to love where you're from, because I'm sure Dre and Demand will tell you here in a minute, you know, if you're not, you know, Dre always says, if you're not the man in your city, then you're not the man anywhere, you know, but that's really true. Or was that something? Yeah, you sound like that. Something like that.
To be the man, you gotta be the man.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, in long short, I think me being from where I'm from and having the success that I do have has been because I'm the woman, and being from a place where I have no competition. Look around, you don't have competition. Honestly, if you really look at it, you don't have competition. You're not in Chicago, you're not in LA, you're not in New York, where everyone's a rapper, everyone's a singer, everyone's a DJ, and everyone's a producer, and they're really good at it. You can be the best right here and make your name to where people want you to come out to LA and New York and work with them. So there is no competition in the Midwest. That's what I love about it now. Sorry, there you go. I'm not talking.
I was gonna just piggyback off of you and give you some more props. That turns her into a beacon for the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like, that she can be able to go to these places and go to New York, and they have interest in what she's doing in the Midwest, because regardless, we're in there, and who was it? Machine Gun Kelly. They were doing like a rollout for him and moving in and being in the Midwest. Of course, they're always going to shell him out to LA and all these other places. But at that moment, that was a priority to them, because they wanted to know how that record is doing for her in that area. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's important. She wouldn't be able to go in the Interscope and they give a damn, because if she's, you know, New York based and all that kind of stuff. They got DJs to do that. They're coming in and out of there, but they don't have somebody like her that can break that for promotional budgets, for touring, all that kind of stuff, to know if these people are going out to these places and going to actually really be able to connect. Oh, they're not feeling them out there? We not sending them. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it very important that you turn into that.
Right, but also too, like, you know, when I first met Dre, you know, a lot of the questions when I go to New York, especially New York, is, you know, there's black people in Iowa, there's Asian people in Iowa, you know, like, you're not just a bunch of farmers and rednecks. And I'm like, no, there's hip hop and there's R&B and there's so much like music culture, and they don't know that you're here and you're here and you're here and that I'm here, you know. And when I first met Dre, you know, I picked him up from our little Quad City airport, and he looked like completely like he stuck out like a sore thumb, you know. But after a while, like, I mean, you ask him, Iowa in the Midwest has kind of become like a second home to him, you know. And you have to ask him privately, you know, why don't A&Rs come to the Midwest? Why don't people care about us? Because we need to listen to people, and we need to get with the trends and what's going on in the music world. We're always, I think the biggest downfall about the Midwest is that we're trying to be like what everybody else is right now, and we're too afraid to be our own unique self. And that's why I don't think that the Midwest is going to be or has that type of recognition from record labels and powerful industry people, is because we're just piggybacking off of what's already popular. We're not making a brand, our own brand and our own unique sound. Back in the day, remember Twista and Bone Thugs, you know, the Midwest sound was fast rapping, you know, and then we kind of lost it. And we don't have that anymore, so.
Well, like you said, you gotta be, you know, where you're from and where you grew up doing your music is gonna show in your music. So be proud of that. That makes you who you are, and that makes you have your own style. So there's an interesting question here that this one was given to me. Oh, by the way, if people have questions, we're about to open it up to that also. If there's people out there that didn't make it today and you wanna go ahead on your device and say, hey, I'm here, I'm in front of these people, you're missing out, but you have a chance to ask a question, they can ask a question through you on your phone, and we can go ahead and ask these folks. Also let people know that this, you know, that we're here and doing this, because that's what social media is for. So, Dre, this one's for you, and I don't know the answer to this. Do artists get signed from demos still, or do you just go find people by your own means?
these questions. Right?
That's key.
I mean, again, from both things. I mean, if you're looking for great artists, then you're gonna find you're looking high and you're looking low. You know what I'm saying? You can find somebody in the artist showcase singing something. Somebody can send you something. You can hear a couple of songs and say, "Yo, I really feel this." Right? You can bump with somebody and they can give you music, give you what is it? Flash drive. Listen to it and find out you like something. So, you know, you're always searching for artists. The way you really find them is up to you. I don't think it's one way to find a particular artist because good music is all over the place. You have so many platforms right now that you put your music on, right? For free. Videos and so, you know, there's a lot of great free music out there. There's a lot of great up-and-coming artists out there. So, you know, and also, I don't get too hung up in the numbers because my first job, A&R job in this industry was at Epic Records, and the artist that we signed, Curtis Fields had how much? 4,000 followers. Curtis Fields had 4,000. I think if you pull up Curtis Fields on your phone right now, I'm pretty sure you only got about 5. I'm pretty sure. And he got a deal based on how talented he was, as we stated before, discussed before. You know what I'm saying? And he was also marketing. He used his iPhone as a guitar. Nobody was doing it at the time, so those were both things, right?
So yeah, like messages, there's always to get to the to the place. I think we can come back around to a couple of things, but I definitely want to give an opportunity for people to ask straight out questions. There's a lot of information here at this table, so this is an amazing opportunity to.
I do have a question online.
That's what I was just telling you to do. So go.
Hi. Has your self-development, working on becoming better, helped you further your dream? How do you want to know how do you improve your craft?
Who would ask it to me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just whoever wants to.
oh. I mean, I don't want to, man, look, I don't want to wake up one day and not have anything. You know, I think also that also stems from where you're from. You know what I'm saying? My family, I'm Jamaican. I'm the first person to go to college in my family. My mom came over here on a banana boat. So I know what it's like to eat not even Oriental noodles. I'm talking about like peanuts and go to bread, you know, I go to bed. So for me, I don't want to go back to that, so I have to continue to go. And now, that was a motivating factor, not want to live that lifestyle where I saw. But the other thing is, once you see people around you, a lot of people talk negative about the music industry. It's not like that with everybody. I've worked with these people, and I'm pretty sure we've gotten into arguments, but they know that I'll go hard for them anytime. Like, for me, I call them, and I'm like, yo, what you thinking? Tell me how you feel. I don't care if it hurts my feelings. Let's discuss it. Let's handle it. We'll have issues. We'll see different, but we have a round table, we sit down and work it out. It can be that if you have that team. So that's what keeps me going as well, because now they believe in me, and I have a venture interest to see them win. You see what I'm saying? I want to put them in positions to win. When she gave me a call, Emily is an amazing person. Met her through this man right here. They were very hungry. I didn't know them. A situation happened. They were like, hey, it would be a great idea for you to come. Set it up, I'll come. But now, she had to bring this to you guys, and like she said, now it's up to you guys to believe in her and go tell everybody else so it can be bigger. Right? So for me, I feel obligation to them because they allowed me. They could have went to other managers and other people. He could have said, fuck my car and left. And not waited 8 hours, took my keys, and I'm ready to check it out. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. I had to, you know, she's dope. I felt like she's dope. I met her, we hit it off. So I always, like we said before, I'm looking to give people opportunities because I wasn't shit, somebody believed in me, that's just the truth. So that's just something I have in my heart. I don't know if somebody else might have it, but somebody decided to say, yo, this dude is worth giving a chance to. But I didn't believe in me. So now I see things in people and I feel like, yo, I give you a chance because if I give you a chance and you blow it, you can't never say I didn't give you a chance. Yeah. That's just me, that's what, to answer your question.
Do you guys want to speak to that at all? Like, how do you, I mean, I heard it a little differently. I also heard, like, how can you, and maybe this is just my question, but, you know, people always continue to improve themselves on a personal level and on a professional level, and those things cross constantly, but sometimes they can be completely separate and need to be to keep the thick skin, but how do you improve yourself? on this personal awareness, and how can that then, does it happen like this, or one first and then the other,
I mean, I think for me it's more like personal as far as just being open to all types of criticisms, good or bad. I'm always learning, I'm still learning. By no means me sitting up here makes me, any better than you guys. It just, at all. I mean, there's, at all, like at all. I mean, there's probably things that you guys have that I don't have, and me sitting up here does not make me better or smarter than anybody else in this room. I've made myself, or I try to make myself approachable so that I can learn more. I mean, that's how I'm working to improve. I mean, I can sit and practice DJing until I'm blue in the face, and I'm never gonna be probably as great as DJ Qbert, and I'm never gonna be probably as popular as DJ Khaled, but damn it, I'm gonna be working my ass off until I am told no. You know what I mean? Until they shut the door on me. So, what? But I think for me, it's definitely being open to learning all the time. All the time. I learn things from people who can't mix two records to save their life because they're gonna teach me something else. And that's what's amazing about life. I mean, you're learning from people all the time. I learn something new every day, you know what I mean? So as long as you're open to that, as long as you don't close your mind that you're the best and that you just know everything, I mean, I think anybody in this room can succeed then. I mean, and just keep learning. You never are gonna be the master, the true master of anything by being closed-minded.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna just touch a little bit more on that. I remember you saying, I don't know if this was K Young earlier, but the one thing that, what's your name?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard you. So one thing about me was I never would be in the room like Joe was saying earlier, this opportunity to come at hand now. You can't be the person in the room that acts like it's an elephant in the room and like you can't speak. Like really communicating, talking, and actually getting out there and learning a person, you know what I'm saying? Or just meeting people. You never know who's in the room. You know what I'm saying? Just the same as like some of you guys perform, and then you have some people that may know you don't even know who's in that crowd. Like even if it's 10 people, some people get discouraged and don't do that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I just made sure I stayed focused on like my goal. I'm from Chicago, the South Side, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of those people don't make it or don't have people pushing them, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what makes me feel like, okay, I just gotta learn everything, you know what I'm saying? I gotta go behind the scenes and learn the business and stay up to date with everything, because in this music, everything's changing every day, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta stay like pretty much in tune with you.